Good day, class. So, our topic for today is all about theory. So, we will mention the theory that we will discuss today. So, there are six theories. First is Freud's theory. Second, Piaget theory. Third, Erik Erikson theory. Fourth, Vygotsky theory. Fifth, Bronfenbrenner's theory and Kohlberg's theory. But these are not the only theories that are mentioned because there are a lot of theories. But for now, let's discuss it first that I mentioned above, okay? So now let us discuss Freud's theory. Developmental of Freud's theory is a psychosexual. Freud's theory, it gives us a view of children developmental that they have a progress through series of a psychosexual task. Psychosexual stages tells from preliminary with personality and postulate that human behavior is motivated by inner unconscious forces, memories, and conflicts that often stem from early experiences. This theory gives teachers an overview of how important and unconscious feelings that may lead to motivate every student's behavior by learning and understanding of your students' experiences or observing them. You will be able to formulate what strategy you may apply or use to help children develop. Every student's need factual information or different concept to help them to taste our ideas and knowledge. The importance of unconscious mind governs behavior to a greater degree than people suspect. Indeed, the goal of psychoanalysis is to make the unconscious conscious. Is the regard education is tasked with teaching children to conform to a normative set of socially approached behavior. Next, our theory is Piaget. So, developmental of Piaget theory is a cognitive. In studying the cognitive development of children and adolescents, Piaget identified four major stages. There are sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. Piaget believed all children pass through these passes to advance to the next level of cognitive development. In each stage, the children demonstrate new intellectual abilities and increasingly complex understanding of the world. Stages cannot be skipped. Intellectual development always follows these sequences. The ages at which children progress through the stages are average. They vary with the environment and background of individual children. At any given time, a child may exhibit behaviors characteristics are more than one stage. An important implication of Piaget theory is adaptation of instruction to the learner's developmental level. The content of instruction needs to be consistent with the development level of the learner. Next theory is Erik Erikson. So, developmental of theories of Erik Erikson is psychosocial theory. According to Erik Erikson's theory of psychosocial development, each individual psyche is shaped through a series of complex co-development crises. Three of these crises occur during childhood and adolescence, which means that teachers who believe in Erikson's theory should focus on this crisis to ensure that students develop healthy, fully realized identities. According to Erikson's, the K of crisis for children between the ages of 3 and 6 is initiative versus guilt. For 6 to 12, the crisis is industry versus inferiority, and for teenagers, identity versus role confusion. Initiative versus guilt, it is a give children the opportunity to make choices and act upon those choices. It is because the crisis of initiative versus guilt determines whether a child learns to plan activities on her own or comes to associate self-directed behavior with punishment. She must have the opportunity to make decisions. Industry versus inferiority allows students the opportunity to set realistic goals, have them create academic and personal goals for each quarter, and revisit those goals every few weeks to monitor their own progress. Identity versus role confusion. provide a variety of positive roles models for students. Adolescence is a time of discovery one's own identity. Next is Kohlberg's theory. Developmental of Kohlberg's theory is stages of moral development. Kohlberg's theory proposes that there are three levels of moral development, with each level split into stages. Kohlberg suggested that people move through these stages in a fixed order and that moral understanding is linked cognitive development. The three levels of moral reasoning include pre-conventional, conventional, and post-conventional. Pre-conventional morality is the first stage of moral development and lasts until approximately age 9. Conventional morality is the second stage of moral development and is characterized by an acceptance of social rules concerning right and wrong. And post-conventional morality is the third stage of moral development and is characterized by an individual's understanding of universal ethical principles. Next is Bronfenbrenner's developmental of theories is bioecological theory. So many of different theories have proposed in an attempt to explain lifespan development. One of them is the ecological theory, which says the role that the environment plays in influencing the growth and development of a person. This theory was formulated by an American-Russian psychologist Yuri Bronfenbrenner, born in 1917. He developed the ecological theory, explain how everything in a child and the child environment affects how a child grows and develops. According to Bronfenbrenner's theory 1998, each of the system has an effect on ones are the macrosystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. Bronfenbrenner's and Murray's. And lastly is Vygotsky theory. Sociocultural is the developmental of this theory of Vygotsky. So what is sociocultural theory? Sociocultural theory is an emerging theory in psychology that looks at the contributions that society makes to individual development. This theory has become more prominent in recent years and can be applied in educational setting as well as in socialization and play. According to the sociocultural perspective, or our psychological growth is guided by people in our lives who are in mentor type roles such as teacher and parents. Other time, we develop our values and beliefs through our interactions within social groups or by participating in cultural events. In socialization and play, Vygotsky theory also stressed the importance of play in learning. Vygotsky believed that through playing and imagining, children are able to further stretch their conceptual abilities and knowledge of the world.